Sudden movements. Nah.
You know, record them.
Yeah, Miss Mary.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Alrighty.
All right, welcome back to the Comb Narrow Bros podcast show. I'm La Roda 512,
I am Maestro the Jedi.
and we want to say thank you for tuning in again. We have one special guest in the building, and we also got several other guests in the building. But go ahead and you can speak in the mic.
My name's Mary Moran, and I am, by profession, I am a social worker, and I'm a dream releaser, and I help transform lives, and I'm also the executive director of On Point Reentry.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay. I would like to start off with a little bit about your background, like where you came from, how you grew up. Just tell us, the audience, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a native Austinite. I've been here all my life. I'm 72 years old, and I grew up in the north side. When I got married, I moved over to the east side. So I got married at an early age, 16. I was a teen parent.
Yes, ma'am.
And had 5 children. I wanted 12, but God knew I couldn't have 12 because my last child, I found out I had cancer. So I was able to finish school through correspondence, then later went on to Austin Community College and did transferred over to the University of Texas and got my degree in social work.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you feel like that? I guess your life kind of pushed you into the work, the social work.
I think it did because also to a professor that took us an elective course in college, and it was youth gang and drugs. Mm-hmm. And he went and lived among the gang members in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And a part of his class was we had to go and volunteer in the community in a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And I went and worked with high-risk youth, and I fell in love with that social work.
What was that first experience like, working in the communities? And
it was wonderful because I was able to reach a lot of women that had been involved in drugs, domestic violence, their kids, living in poverty. I mean, everything relating to what I was going through at the moment, and was able to reach that population inside the housing units because we work mostly with the housing units through HACA. And I even had one of the people there sign a petition. They wanted me to stay out of the housing units because I was helping the drug addicts. Okay. My God, they were the only ones responding to the call for me to help them to transform their lives. They wanted to change, but nobody was working with them. Wow. So my boss said, somebody wants you fired. And I said, are you going to fire me for that?
Just for helping?
Yeah, just for helping them. And I said, you can't let them dictate that to you because I'm there helping to change lives. I'm not there just to go make, friends. And I will tell you one time, one of the houses I was visiting was raided, and they told me, put your hands against the wall. Wow. And I did, and I was kind of scared. But then the young lady I was visiting said, hey, she's her social worker. She's just here.
Trying to help,
Trying to help, yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a experience I know a lot of people really don't get to get out there and get involved in. Mm-hmm. But we want to thank you for letting us kind of know the background and mm-hmm. how it first started with you. So the program that you have right now is called the On Point Reentry Program.
Consortium, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Can you share the story behind the founding of this?
Mm-hmm. Yes. When my child was 12 years old, he was having a lot of problems, and they diagnosed him with ADHD, EDLD. Mm-hmm. And the psychiatrist told me that at 12 years of age that he would either go 2 ways. One, he'd become a police officer,
yes, ma'am,
or he would go to prison. And I didn't know that 5 years later that this was going to come true. And he did go to prison at an early age. He was put into an adult prison, and I was devastated. It was a domino effect on all of us because we didn't know what to do. one of the mothers called me because my son was big and large and he looked like an adult. The mother called me and said, "What are you going to do? Because it's your fault that my child is in there with your child." I said, "You're used to this." And I said, "No, I'm not. I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to learn how to take care of that boy in there." I did a lot of research while he was in there, and then did research on what I could do when he would come out.
Was there like a father presence in his life, a good
There was a
influence?
father presence, but he was mostly, at that time, my husband was heavily addicted to drugs. And he, the presence he would come would be when it was time to discipline them. And he made sure that they stayed in school, but he wasn't there to really kind of monitor and tell them how to be raised as young boys.
What a lot of people really don't understand too is like sometimes when people are in active addiction, it's like something that needs to be broken in a certain way, because just because you're providing for your family doesn't mean that you're actually like there for your family, you know, especially in active addiction. And it's like, it's a really bad cycle to be in. So the reason I asked that question is because a lot of times misguided youths kind of fall into their peers and stuff. And I just wanted to touch on that, you know.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I blamed him, my husband, and I also blamed myself for allowing this to happen to my child. And my boy told me later on, "Mama, it had nothing to do with you. You taught me right. You told me, you know, how to be, and you told me to stay away from those boys because it was going to happen." But I didn't listen, and it was my decision, not theirs, not yours, you know. So it's hard to tell a parent that because you kind of blame yourself. And I'll tell you, while he was in there, I went through a lot of depression. I wanted to take my own life at the time. It was just a blame, guilt, a lot of guilt.
A lot of guilt.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have more expectations. And
Yes.
You have everyone wishes a better life for their child, especially, you know, you want your life to be, or their life to be better than yours. And I could see why you would feel that way, having a son that goes to prison and things like that. But was this one of the main causes for you to really get out here and get active in the community?
Yes,
and start this vision?
Yes, it was. And he tells me, "Mom, when you go out there, tell me you owe it all to me." So when I came back, I said, "Okay, I know too much. I can't keep it to myself. I got to help other families that are probably struggling like I am." And so started working first with the women on welfare, and they told me about their stories with their loved ones that were in prison and all that. And they really are the ones that gathered around me to help me through my depression, to tell me, and we're going to tell you how
support system.
Yeah, we're going to be there for you, Miss Moran, because you're there for us. And so they did. They helped me, and I owe all those women a lot. And I know some of them by name, and I do keep in touch with them. But it had a lot to do with a support system.
Yes, ma'am.
And even inside the system, it's a support system. If you don't have that support out here in the community for you, then a lot of things can happen to you in there because there's nobody there to watch or call somebody on what they're doing to you in there.
Sometimes it's like when you're put away, you know, family and friends out in the street, you know, in the world can actually, if you don't have a support system, somebody could pass away in jail and you wouldn't even know it.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. So I got involved with a lot of organizations out here. I started putting myself out there and volunteering, attending meetings. And then in 2007, a position opened up with Travis County. And it was the Judge Bisco at the time had gotten many calls from the community saying, "What are you going to do for us? How are you going to help us get jobs? We can't find jobs because we have backgrounds." So he put out a RFP for someone to create a offender workforce development program.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was 3 of us, and I was chosen. And I loved it. I did it for 7 years. We started having orientations. We helped a lot of the Federal Bureau of Prisons that were coming out to help them find employment. The TDCJ people, we helped them also. We had orientations because there was too many for me to really see one-on-one. So I started holding big orientations where they would come, and I would tell them, "This is what this program can do for you. What if you want more one-on-one help, then you make an appointment with me and I'll see you." And that's what I started doing. But I had too many people wanting to see me. So I did the mass orientation, and then those that really needed more help, more private help, we did one-on-ones with them. Yeah.
And this was since
2007. I created that reentry program with the Criminal Justice Planning Department in Travis County. At that time, it was called the Offender Workforce Development Program, and we got national attention for it. We got an award in 2010 for leadership and workforce, and then in 2012, I went on to create a reentry program inside the Del Valley Correctional Complex within Sheriff Greg Hamilton. He is a pioneer in having reentry programs inside the jail. No other sheriff had ever done that. He did that. And when he knew that I was leaving the Criminal Justice Planning Department, he said, can you come and do a reentry program for me here in the jail? And I did. It was called Transition from Jail to Community. And it's a national concept, but I tweaked it to fit our area. And a lot of the individuals left with reentry plans when they would leave. And I'd say, when you're out there, please let me know. Give me a call and let me know what you're doing with your life, if you follow through on the reentry plan that I gave you. But it was a successful program, and that we helped over, I don't know, in the 7 years I was there, probably thousands of individuals. Yeah.
That's so great because a lot of people feel that once someone gets in trouble, that they're no good to society. So with your reentry program, like the mission, it seems, is to actually give those a second chance. There is hope again. You have support systems out here to help probably get them employment, work in their communities, actually talk to others that are actually going and getting incarcerated as well. So what is like your main mission of this reentry program?
I think our main mission and what makes us unique is the fact that we just not only address, employment, we address the root cause of why you continue going in and out of the system.
Yeah.
And we look at, we do an assessment called the ACEs score to see adverse childhood experiences, to see how high your score is. The higher it is, the more the more able you're going to be going into the system or being promiscuous or getting into drugs or doing something that you shouldn't be doing. And the individuals that come say, my God, no one's ever told us that. They've never done an assessment like this. It's about, okay, this is what you need to do. And I said, well, no, I'm not going to ask you this is what you need to do. I want to ask you, what do you want from me? How can I help you?
Right.
Because there are human beings. They're not a number. They're human beings that have made a mistake. And, they're not bad people. They just made a mistake.
And you would think, especially in going into incarceration, that it would be something that you really are going to be rehabilitated, right? And what people don't understand is once you're in there really is no rehabilitation. You learn how to either become a better criminal, or you really don't even deal with the things that cause you to actually enter the system. And that's the hardest thing about it, is because just with my own background, knowing what I've been through, it never really focused on what I was going through,
Yeah.
And it's just like saying it's a repeating cycle. Everybody's going in and out. And instead of really trying to rehabilitate, it's really just from a cousin of mine getting locked up and just knowing other people that have been incarcerated, it's a struggle in there. It's there's you're sometimes locked down because of other people's mischiefs or whatnot, and it's really a detrimental thing for a person to be in prison.
Yeah, and when I see people, I tell them there's 2 important days in your life: the day you're born and the day you find out you were born, because there's a purpose for every human being on this world.
Yes, ma'am.
And there is you weren't born to be put in a cage. Right. That wasn't the ultimate goal. Oh wow, I'm going to grow up and do something and get caged up. No, you were not born to be in a cage. And I said, so I tell them, I want you to go back into your unit, because I go into the prisons too, and the jails, and do workshops. I want you to go back to your pod, and I want you to sit there and reflect on what I just said. What is your purpose here on this earth? Because each one of you have purpose, you have value, and you have worth. Don't allow these people to take that away from you. Don't allow that, because you know what? you keep up with your own happiness. You know, in your mind, I'm only here for a while. I'm going to learn everything I got to learn. I'm going to read. I'm going to get into workshops, but I'm going to make something of myself. Because when I get out here, watch out, world, here I come.
And then also, it's like you can be put in for a minor crime and actually be incarcerated with somebody who had more of a crime,
Yes.
or somebody who you might be a weaker person. And it's like the prison guards could fall asleep and or just get up and take a break that's not needed, and not knowing what the person is going through on this day or that day. You know, people have hung themselves in jail.
Yes.
People have cut themselves and have been left for dead, and somebody comes back from break not even knowing, hey, this has happened in the cell, or somebody getting violated in there by another person. And that's what I feel like your program is doing to help try to keep these people out and try to seek a better life than what they thought that they were about. Because once you're kind of put in, you'll always have it follow you. And it sucks, because that's why things like Band of Box is really important. And also just to try to give another person an opportunity to better themselves. I'm not saying that everyone is just like, you know, gonna always come out and try to work on themselves. You know, there are criminals out there, but the people that really want to change, this is what we need to do for the community and for our people and for, you know, minorities in themselves. You know, all races actually. You know.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's you said it right. There's those that aren't ready to come out and do something with their lives. They're still sitting on the fence. But then you got those that are powerful, and you guys are great people here that are powerful, that have done something with their lives, and they're giving back. They're not keeping it to themselves, because they want to get their hand and pull someone up to them and say, I've been there, but you can be where I'm at right now. And that's what it's about, helping and being a peer support specialist to someone else that has been where you have been.
Yes, ma'am.
It's about helping one another.
So how can individuals contact you and actually get involved with this On Point Reentry?
Are you talking about people that are struggling out there with their backgrounds, or you're talking about people, period, that want to know about reentry?
People who want to know about reentry, and also who want to help, who maybe have been incarcerated and changed their lives. How do they come and be a part of the organization and everything that you have going on?
Well, this is how I get them involved. If they have been in the system and they're ready to do something with their lives, we do quarterly a training for the community providers. It's called Reentry Employment Specialists. It's a quarterly training we do. We've trained over 7,800 people. I invite those individuals that have been in the system that want to come and help me to be in this training. Since I founded this, RES, I will allow the people that have backgrounds to come on a scholarship basis to come and get the training, so that they can know exactly what's going on in the community. But also, too, I want them to come and speak on the last day. It's a Justice Impacted panel where they do three things. One, they talk about their story. Two, they talk about what they're doing now with their life. And three, they tell the community providers that are in the training how the community providers can help the individuals coming home from prison, how they can be more effective in working with them.
Because they've experienced.
Yes. So and I'm going to tell you, that class right there is so impactful that the providers say, I now see these people in a different light. All I was doing was checking that box off, saying, okay, I met my quota for the day, I met my grant requirement, but now they're seeing them as human beings and saying, there for the grace of God go I.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That is. What are some of your biggest challenges that you're facing, organization faces in supporting returning citizens?
The main thing that I have a problem with in right now and trying to help the people that come to me is housing.
Okay.
Their housing is horrific here in Austin, especially for people with backgrounds.
Yes,
They can't find any housing. The funding is low for those programs that are out there. They're still not able to. They have waiting lists for them, so people have to try to room or find some place to stay. But there's a lot of homeless people out in the community that are in the woods, that are in buildings, and it's horrible. I tried to get, when I was working inside the jail, help for a woman that was pregnant and in recovery. I called some of these pregnant homes. Oh well, we can't because that's a liability because
Yes,
they're in
ma'am.
recovery. So it was hard, but then finally, when I left the system, then people started saying that there are some homes now that are taking them, and that's great because a woman should not have a child out in the street.
Yeah.
On the way here, I seen like some families just on the side of the road, you know, with babies. I don't know if y'all came maybe 183 to 290, but it's just it's horrific out here. You know, I know that we're talking about reentry programs and stuff, but it's just as a society and as just a people, it's hard for individuals just to even make a living.
Yes.
So like with this program and the training that you're offering to ones to be able to get back out and try to get established is really a great thing. You know?
And yes, and thank you for that, Ro. Thank you. And I'll tell you this: one agency can't do it alone. I strongly, strongly believe in collaboration and in networking. It used to make me mad because a lot of these nonprofits were very territorial. Didn't want to. They were work in silos. Didn't want to.
It's like I'm a better nonprofit
Yes,
than the other.
yes,
You know?
and that's not what it's about. Because you know who was losing out? The people we're trying to help. So I kind of pushed that when I started in 2007 working with these nonprofits and government and all that, saying we need to work together. Because it ain't going to work us just one at a time. You have something I don't have, so I'm going to give that person to you. And I'm going to give it's going to be a warm transfer. I'm going to call you and tell you, hey, I got so-and-so coming. Right. Please work with them. Give me some feedback as if they showed up and what you gave them to do. So that started changing a lot of things. And some still hold on to that territorial piece of it, but there's those that are truly
wholehearted.
Yes,
with it,
yes,
right?
and those are the ones that I refer my people to.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I've been in this business a long time, over 30 years, so I give them to the right people to know that they're going to get help.
And this is a great opportunity, even for our podcast show, because in any of our episodes, any of our listeners have heard that we started on a different path. We weren't actually going to this path, right? But God has pushed us in this path to be able to help people like you have a voice out there. Right. We want to be able to impact the community in a positive way, because it's already hard enough out here with everything that you're seeing. They have shows on TV and stuff, 60 Days In, all these other things. But instead of us focusing on like literally trying to help people, we're actually taking film in and just saying, hey, check this out. This is how people act in there. Instead of having something positive like this to come over here and say, how can we keep our people or minorities or anybody out of prison that really don't deserve to be there, because we all make mistakes. We're only human, right?
Yes.
And your organization is something that is going to be so impactful to people. Not only that, you're already doing it.
Yeah, it has.
So it's like it gives you hope, and when you give wholeheartedly and you really have a passion for it, you can see it in a person. You haven't judged us, walking in, and a lot of people, the first thing they do is like, once you see something on paper, there's no second chances, and it sucks to be discarded like that. And then how are we supposed to survive? I just got out of prison. What do you expect me to do? Type stuff. Like, how do I eat? You have to, survive. That's all we're trying to do.
And plus, they still have to like report to different people, maybe a parole officer. Have to go to different classes as well as try to make ends meet for themselves. So you having an organization with trainings and workshops set up, it gives someone a way out, pretty much. Like, hey, okay, I know I still have to deal with this, but when I get with your program, I have a chance to actually excel in life and become something, and not just be a statistic off of a criminal background that can't be removed.
Yeah.
A lot of us, we have things like Ryan was saying on our record, but we can't let that define us.
Right.
A lot of people that we see in high places, you see them in high places, but you don't get to see their record. A lot of people have things on their record. So no one's an angel. We're all just trying to make it.
They just haven't got caught.
Angels.
They just haven't got caught.
And it's just by you saying that, my cousin just recently got incarcerated, but before we had a discussion, and he was on the other side talking to one of the sheriffs, and he was like, the sheriff was like, we're the same type of person. It's just I didn't get caught. You did.
Yeah.
And those words right
It's
there,
like
just
bragging
like,
about it.
man, like it's kind of says like, hey, I'm still doing what I do because, everyone has some type of vice, whether you collect cards, you drink, you do whatever. Drugs are detrimental to society. And I believe with this organization, the way we're hearing it here is that, like, you're trying to get people off of drugs. You're trying to help people get housing. You're trying to get people back into society because at the end of the day, if we don't have that help and we're trying to reach out and somebody's just looking from afar and they don't want to take that hand, they're going to drown,
So
Go ahead.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that your organization faces when getting someone to actually turn around and become a better citizen out here in society?
I'll tell you one of the biggest challenges that I have with, and it's mostly the men. Hello. They have
Hard-headedness.
They have attitude. They have attitude problems, and and it's real hard to change that attitude because when they come, they said, "Well, I came to see you because they told me you're going to give me a job." I said, "I know someone didn't tell you that. I'm going to help you to prepare you to get a job, but I'm not going to give you a job. I don't have that kind of pull." And, then I say, maybe the reason you haven't gotten a job is because the way you're talking to me right now. And, well, I ain't going to change my attitude for nobody. And I said, then you're not going to get a job.
That's the problem.
And I tell them, when you come to me, I don't sugarcoat anything. If I see what I see, I'll tell you to your face, because I want to help you. And if you don't want my help, then there's the door. But some of these men that have a lot of pride, I say you need to leave that pride at the door. And take that P out of pride and ride on to with success, Yeah. And and the women they're very, they're like a sponge. They take in all the information. And I tell them now is a time for you to take care of yourself because you've always been a caretaker, taking care of other people. When has someone come and said, what can I do for you? How can I help you? This is what I'm about, empowering women. Because some of these women have gone to prison because of men, what men have told them to do. Oh, baby, you go, I got a record, but you don't. They're not going to do anything. Yeah, they do. They go to jail. They go to prison. So we talk about that. But for the men, it's really the attitudes on them. I always stress education is important because the more that you learn, the more that you earn. And they'll say, oh, I can't go to work and go to school. Say, yes, you can. Don't say that because the more you say it to yourself, you believe it and you don't do it. But you can do it. A lot of people do it. People that are homeless are going to school and work, and they're living in the woods because they want something better for their lives.
And I could see that, especially coming out of what you were already in, right? And being a man, you come into a presence of a strong woman, you kind of you're just there like, how's she gonna tell me what to do, type stuff, and you're just providing them with the tools to get it, because at the end of the day, the person is gonna have to go out there and grind hard or change their appearance or try to become, just better than what they were if you really want it. Right?
Yeah.
How do you even see that in a person to see how they really want to change? Do you know right off the jump that this person wants to change, or are there people that just come and try to hustle you too?
Yeah. I've had both, but I kind of ask questions to get kind of a feel. And I said, tell me about yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you want in life. And when I hear them talking, I kind of get, okay, they're ready to change. But then I can hear that where the power of manipulation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Especially in the system, you have to know how to manipulate so you can survive in the system. And I can kind of tell when someone's kind of manipulating me. And I'll tell you the ones that are the smooth talkers, because I do have some people that are sex offenders that come see me. They're smooth talkers, but then you see those that are not smooth talkers, but they're ready to change. And there's different types of sex offenders. I tell employers that you got to look at, there's just not one type, there's different types. But I think that the thing about working with this population is letting them know I'm comfortable with you if you're comfortable with me. I don't judge anybody. I don't care what crime you did. I'm just happy you came here to see me today, because that's telling me you're willing to change.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you didn't have to come see me, because a lot of people will call me and say, Miss Moran, I want to come see you. I want to talk to you. And I'll come out of the comfort of my home, because I work from home. I come, and then I wait for them. And I wait for them, and they don't call me or even show up. But that's okay, because I call and I say, what happened? And they'll tell me, oh, I forgot today was the day. Oh, I forgot. I overslept. I said, well, that's a
Better
bad
hurry. You got
indication.
20 minutes to get here.
Because that may going to tell me I shouldn't refer anybody out there in the world to go work, because, I forgot to show up today. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So I let them know, you got to be true to your word.
Yeah.
You got to, when you tell someone you're going to be there, be there.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what I believe is very, very important in changing the mindset of these individuals just coming out of the system. Dignity, integrity, trust, and respect. They have to gain all that back, because it was taken away from them. So when I go into the jails, I talk about what does dignity mean to you? What does integrity mean to you? What does respect mean to you? And trust? And what happens when someone takes that away from you? What's the betrayal? How do you feel? So they started thinking about that, and I said, this is what job readiness is about. Changing our mindset, not telling us, okay, you'd be good at working in the fields, or you'd be good working in landscaping, or no, you're looking at us, the whole person. And I said, yes, because there's something, okay, I said, each and every one of you have potential. And the definition of potential is the sum of who you are that is yet to be released.
Powerful words.
You got to work at it. It just doesn't happen overnight. And you got to believe in yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you believe it and see it, you can achieve it.
What is a message that you like to share with the Austin community about the importance of reentry programs?
Well, I always ask the individuals in the community, what a lot of these small nonprofits that are truly working in reentry need is funding. And I don't want you to think, that you're giving money for like Hug a Thug. It's to help change people's lives, okay?
Hug a Thug.
It's to help people's lives change. And it's about you investing when you invest in reentry, you invest in the community.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
And you help it to be a stronger economy, because people are working, and a safer community because they're not working. They're not busy thinking about, let me go rob so-and-so or break into that house because I need money. They're actually, and I want to tell you, employment, to them, it gives them pride because they're doing something positive, and they're proving to people, look at the skill I have.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've given me that chance, and I'm going to be the most loyal employee to you because you gave me that chance. And they have so many skills. My God, we got accounts, we got people in advertising, we got people, in business, so many different fields. And they're not just fields for like labor work. It's with the mind. Yeah.
And one point that you actually had said was one of our questions is like, how does commitment and integrity shape the work and culture of On Point Reentry Consortium?
Well, I want to tell you, the team have strong ethics.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we all went through a training at the National Institute of Corrections. And one of them was that you had to have strong ethics in doing a reentry program in your area. And the team that I picked 12 people. 12 people, y'all. To me, that's a good number for the Bible, okay, apostles. And I believe I have strong faith, and I know, yes.
Go out by twos,
I'll tell you. And these people that my team, one's has civil rights background, human resource. One's an educator. I'm the social worker in the field, and then we had a person, God rest his soul, that had lived experience, and he is my greatest success story.
Would you like to open up about his journey and?
Yes, I
if it's okay.
Yes, I met him in 2007. I was working Project Rio, and when he came in a scared kid, and he was in the seriously violent program. And TDCJ wrote me this thing saying, "Be careful because he's a very violent young man." But when he came into me, all I saw was a scared kid, and he looked at me and he goes, "Miss, I walked up here because I didn't know how to catch the bus." And I told him, if you stay with me and you work with me, it'll be all right. And he did. We stayed in touch for a long, long time. And I celebrated when he got off parole. I celebrated the birth of his twins. He helped me in he could come speak at these classes I told you about and tell his story. And he went to work for the city of Austin. He went to work for the workforce. He was a powerhouse. Everywhere he went, he was a powerhouse. And he knew how to get people that had backgrounds hired. He created his own, temp services. And I would always send people to him, and he would screen them for me to make sure that they were a good fit. And then when he went to work for the city and I retired, and they called me out of retirement, there he was, and he trained me. And he said, the grasshopper has now become the master.
Right.
Yes.
That's
and he got involved. When I knew we were doing this nonprofit, we wanted him to be a part of it, and he did. We had so many plans for him to do some great programs in the prisons, in the jails, in the community with APD, with the gun violence and the kids. And his life was taken last year. He died in a car wreck. And I do pay tribute to him in our website. I do have his picture up there. And he is a wonderful, wonderful young man that really touched my heart. He became like family and like a son to me. And it really devastated me when he died.
And what was his name?
His name was Frankie Torres.
Yes. I got the opportunity to meet Mr. Torres because with the working relationship, and he was a great person. I was able to get to know him just going in off of trying to get a job within the city also. And he pretty much was like, man, bro, you could do it. Just you need it, I got you. We'll help you tweak up your resume or whatever we needed. So he was a great soul. It's people like that looked at me to give me a chance,
Exactly, exactly. Frankie didn't judge anybody. He helped anybody that came through his door, anybody that came through the door. And he would really take care of you one-on-one. He did not step away from you. He didn't judge you. Yes, and I told him, Frankie, I would tell him, Frankie, I got somebody. He's real stubborn or she's stubborn. Can I send him you? Yes, send him to me. And he would just totally bring them, down to, calm down, Miss Moran's just there to help you. But we would do that to each other. If he couldn't handle somebody, he'd send them to me, and I'd talk them down. And but we would always help one another. And I miss his phone calls every morning because he would call me and say, hey, best friend, what you doing today? Are you okay? Let's get together for lunch. Let's talk about this. But he helped me plan a lot of this for the summit that we're having in November. He put a lot of work into it, and then he put a lot of work into his workshops.
Yes, ma'am.
That I'm looking at someone else take over for me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've given one of them was yada yada yada. You ain't running it. That was a workshop that he was really proud of, and we worked on the curriculum for it. And when he passed, I said, "Oh my God, I really wanted this curriculum to go out there, to be taught." And the day that someone walked through my door.
Yes, ma'am.
I felt that those little goosebumps going on me because I felt that he was going to be able to do these classes for me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
and I would like to touch R.I.P. Mr. Torres. We can have a moment of silence for him, But jumping back into it, I know all these people out here looking to see who are these individuals off to the side of us, right?
Yes.
We're going into the summit part, right? Mm-hmm. And I believe you said it happened in a dream.
It happened in a dream.
Right?
The theme. We wanted to do a Reentry Vision Summit because I did 4 of them when I was working with the sheriff, and he asked me when he retired, let's revive it, and I said okay, but I couldn't think of the theme, and I remember dreaming, going to bed and praying, and said, Lord, and I always say, guide my every word, thought, and action. And in my dream, it came to me. The vision, the theme for this year's is the Alpha and the Omega. Yeah, and the beginning and the end. And the Alpha is about, it symbolizes the holistic and human-centered approach to reentry.
Yes, ma'am.
Is dealing with the mind, the emotional, the spiritual, the physical, and also the social needs of the individual. And the Omega is about the definition of what reentry is. And that's about, helping the individual find their purpose in life, their identity, and also to reduce recidivism and also to create a safer community. That's what the summit is about. And putting those two together, the Alpha and the Omega, it makes it the real objective of reentry. It's about connecting people and making sure that the individual coming out of the system comes to a place where it's more effective, more equitable, and it empowers them to change their lives for the better. And empowers them. That's the big word right there.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. And I know that I'll also be sitting in with this panel also.
Yes.
And I know that the panel was specifically chosen by Miss Rachel Salgado, who's sitting to the right of us.
Yes.
I want to say the way that I've seen this kind of grow itself, that everything that you dreamed, you literally said it earlier, you visioned it, right? And God guided you,
yes,
and put you in Rachel's.
I'm telling you, there's a reason for everything. The contacts we had, the network. I knew Rachel worked for the city, and Frankie had talked to me about her. And then I think Rachel reached out to me when we were where the LULAC meeting, and she said, "Here's my card," and I said, "Okay, I need to get in touch with it." And we did. We got in touch with each other. Then she introduced me to what I call the Fantastic Four. I call them the Fantastic Four. Powerful, powerful stories of four individuals that are going to be at the summit. They're going to have a panel on the last day to help close the summit, because I want these people in the audience to hear their stories and how they changed their lives, and how people out there need to see and believe what they've done and say, okay, let me take that back to my jurisdiction or and help my people get that strength, get that empowerment, because it's very, very important that the system starts to really, inside the systems, really start changing, because they're not about rehabilitating. Yeah. This is what I say. The prison system, slavery didn't go away, y'all. It just evolved into slavery, mass incarceration. That's what it did.
Yes.
And you got some prisons that do not pay their people to work while they're there. So that's a form of slavery. There's an article in the Chronicle about the Texas prisons, and need to read that and understand that in some states things are changing. Right now, Norway, and there I hope they come. Norway is going to be at this summit talking about the humane way they changed their prison system. And there's 3 prisons here in the United States that have started incorporating some of those into their system. And I'm trying to invite them to come and speak, and explain, so that different prisons all over the world or all over the United States can see, hey, we need to start doing this so that we can start having less violence in the prisons and less people going back into the system. Because if you don't, there's no such thing as rehabilitation right now. But if you start doing treating them like human beings while they're in there, letting them get close to their families, visiting them, being able to hold them and talk to them, it's a whole different thing. Say, you know what, I'm going to work hard at getting out of here because I want this all the time. I don't just want it for a few hours. I want it all the time. And when you incorporate that into the system, you get people to leave and not say, I'm not coming back here no more.
Yes, ma'am.
I got a life out there. I got children that are waiting for me. I got a mother that's been waiting for me. Because I waited a long time, 13 and a half years.
And we don't have, unfortunately, Mr. Eric. He's not here today, but we do have Cassie. We got Angel and myself and Rachel. We all came together, and I believe this is going to be really impactful in itself, because each one of us all have these stories to give back, right? And with people like you and Rachel that see the wholehearted human being inside the whole heart inside a human being, that really is what I'm talking about. When I'm reaching out, you're reaching back, trying to pull me out of my quicksand,
Yes.
So it is going to be a really powerful summit. So how do you plan to bring people from diverse backgrounds together through this initiative?
Well, I'm doing a lot of advertising. Miss Amy's not here. She's going to be helping me in social media, spread the word.
Yes.
Yeah, about this.
She created a great website.
Yes, she created a great website for me. Go to our website, www.onpointreentry.org. Beautiful webpage for the summit to invite people there. Hopefully, we're going to be running the stories of these beautiful women. And,
Yes, we will.
And Eric and Ram on there so that people can see the story and see how lives can truly change for the better.
Yes,
And not just for me saying it, because I can be here talking, but to actually hear from the individuals themselves. Because when I heard the stories from these two women and then from you and Eric, it really, I was crying. And then when Cassie said to look at the documentary they did on her, I cried even more. And I'd call my family to get on there and get on Hulu and look at this documentary. And then, for Angel to tell me what she's doing now with the skills and talent that she has, it's beautiful, and Eric, doing what he's doing in his work, as a realtor, my God, who does that nowadays, and to fight for what rights you have, and then you working for the city and then doing this podcast, this is a powerful outlet, a venue to get people's voices heard and to hear the stories of spotlighting people once a month and saying, this is what I've done with my life now. We're not all bad.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to what I'm saying, because there's more hope for us. Believe in people that come to you, especially to the employers, to relay that message to them.
And yeah, it sucks because it's like whenever you already deemed it, it's all it is some words on a paper, right?
Yes.
There's nothing explaining what the situation was. There's nothing saying, hey, you have this, you're changing this way. All it is boom, this is what you're deemed as. And it's like you're coming in and you're going to be denied if somebody, you can't tell me that if I came across two individuals and then I saw theft and college education, then I'm just going to be like, no matter how good the interview is, you're just going to look at that theft and push it to the side. Yeah. You got to take that non-bias, whatever you think of an individual, and actually take a chance on these people. Right. Because that's all. There's nothing easier in life than to be given a chance.
Yes. And I'll tell you, people with backgrounds, they live in a beautiful city, because I say the fair chance hiring ordinance has really changed, where the employers got to take that off the box, and you get the individuals that go see them, they have backgrounds, have a level playing field, just like anybody off the street. And the employer gets to hear the skills you have, right? But also see you as a person and say, wow. And it says, you know what, you got the job. We're going to hire you. But it's contingent on us getting the background.
Yes.
And if the background has nothing to do with the job they're, offering to this individual, then the person has the job. But if they deny him just because, oh, look, it's kind of extensive, no, that's not the reason. And that's where the person themselves can say, you know what, give it to me in writing while you're not hiring me, okay? And I'll tell you, if it's a good cause. And we have a civil rights person here that will investigate that if it was a good cause for them not to hire you.
So it can be, they can be treated fairly.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned Ban the Box, and I will let you know that I was a part of that when it first started, and I made it sure that it passed in 2008. And the city followed suit right after the county did, because I was tasked to make sure and talk to all the, it was Ban the Box for the county, to go and work. And I said, well, if we do it for the county, we need to go to the county departments and make sure they're ready to hire people with backgrounds. And a lot of them didn't want to do it, but I said it's an initiative that's going to happen, so you have to work with this population. And all that research I did, y'all, and then all of a sudden it says, they said we couldn't do it because of T-close. I think saying that anywhere where there was records of people with backgrounds, yes, where they kept records of files of people, that they couldn't work in those buildings. When that was even my janitors, that was even the HVAC people.
Yeah. So, that's crazy.
Yeah, but now it's being lax. They're allowing them to come in and work for juvenile probation as a receptionist or probation and working in the fields. But things are changing slowly but surely, and it's going to take a little bit longer for people to be able to get into federal government. Because I said, here's federal government teaching all these, what is it? We're going to do reentry. Well, excuse my French. Well, hell, why aren't you hiring them? And they're slowly but surely doing that, hiring them. You got people that here that are trying to get back into law enforcement or trying to get into legal, being a lawyer. You know, I'm for that because who better to work with you than someone that's been through the system and is going to keep you out of the system because they're going to know, how to really navigate that, the whole legal system,
And I would think, too, just, bandit box is important, but even at that, it's like, also, if an individual comes and puts down everything on this paper to say, hey, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, you're being honest. And sometimes people don't even see that. They kind of just, like I said, push you to the side. And it's a great thing that you have. But can you describe some of the key programs or initiatives that the summit will be launching?
Well, we don't have any. We just know we're bringing people from all over for mental.
Okay.
To discuss mental health on there inside the systems and outside here. What kind of help is available to these individuals? Because right now the jails are being and the prisons are being used as mental institutions for some of these folks that are really struggling with mental issues. All the trauma they suffered when they were growing up and it's never been addressed, so they go deeper into their trauma when you're caged up 24/7. We're gonna have people that are veterans. That we're gonna have someone around self speak on that regarding what it was to go into jail after being in this military for a long time. And then we have people coming to speak on youth, elderly disabled, because we got a lot of just elderly disabled people coming out of the system that don't know what to do, don't know how to get help, So we're addressing every piece of an individual that has issues, substance abuse, what can you do? What kind of programs are out there that really, really help? I could go into some, but I'm not to because then I'll be banned for life from some of these places. And I need the help. I need the help right now from my folks. So I'm not going to mention names, but I think it's very, very important that we know that this summit is going to bring together a diverse group of individuals, professionals, to showcase their evidence-based practices that have really been successful in reducing recidivism and in helping transform lives.
That's beautiful. It's like me and Ro, we were talking about this, and we were like, what if, this is what I say, it's like we got guided into this, right? Because God is guiding us with this. And we were talking about maybe even having individuals come out and help set up equipment to have, try to check out hours for them or try to give back to say, hey, this person is actually here. They showed up here for your community service hour type stuff. And it's really something that's beautiful in itself, the podcast show in itself, like you said, because we want to take these people to help because we're part of them too. I can't sit here and be judgmental of anybody because I have my flaws. My brother has his flaws.
And their stories need to be heard, as well. So if they can get behind a microphone, know how to set up a microphone, know how to set up a camera, this is really a forever business for someone to actually take on. And we're willing to actually help with that, as bringing them in, they can work with us. We teach our own kids. I just feel like any type of knowledge that we have, we would like to be able to share that with somebody that is incarcerated and wants to come out and actually better themselves in a way to where they can actually help someone else.
I mean, you got to be
the same type of setup.
You if you think about it, they're creative in prison, right?
Right.
From the food all the way down to how they wash clothes. You know what I mean?
They can have
and it's like
a cooking show. They can have
they could have their own cooking
and
show.
Spreads, my son still makes them.
I ain't gonna lie, if spread is it hits on point.
Yeah, they hit on point, but I don't know about that. But I want to tell you what's very, very beautiful to me, and it touches my heart, that everyone that has helped me with this nonprofit has in one way or another been impacted by the justice system.
Oh, yeah.
Be it family members, be it these beautiful people here that are today, they're the ones that have reached out to me, and that's what makes it beautiful, to say, how can we help you in your nonprofit? Yes, people whose lives have been touched by this are the ones that are coming to me and saying, how can we help you? And that's very, very beautiful, because that tells me that they have, it's working, and they've changed their lives, and they want to give back. They want to give back. They want to show people, hey, I made a mistake once, but look where I'm at now. And I'm going to pay it forward, and I'm going to help everybody that I can.
With something like this, with the summit, to be able to come out and literally speak to people in a large audience, to give back from our hearts, is also helping us burn out that fire inside of us, that we're not perfect. You know, we still have flaws. We're just trying to just be good people, you know. So I want to thank you to actually allow me to speak at this summit also. You know, with Rachel, she's, like I said, none of this happened out of coincidence.
No.
We were all born to come into this podcast, to meet together. This is why we were born. This is why God put us here, you know, and it's really powerful.
Very, very powerful. And I'm so glad, and I hope that, you know, you can put the camera on my beautiful women here.
Yeah.
Ladies. Yeah.
But no, seriously, like we all are going to be able to sit down and actually get y'all involved to actually tell y'all stories, because one thing about it is everybody's story is different, but it can help somebody else along the way.
Yes.
Regardless of what you've been through, you know, and that's why it's important to families. You know, a lot of the system put in place is to actually keep, you know, a house divided will fall.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and I believe the way the society is going and stuff, if we're not together, we're divided, and we're all going to fall. And it's like people like you are giving back to the community to say, I'm reaching out for you too. Yeah, I'm not going to leave you behind just because of your background or what society deems you as.
Yeah.
You know.
And the only reason I ask when they come see me is, what is your offense? What crime did you commit? Because I need to know what jobs they can and cannot do.
Yes, ma'am.
And also if they're going to be good at it, or if they need training. And someone said, you shouldn't ask that question. I said, no, I need to know what I'm working with, because I need to give them the best service possible. And they told me, well, we don't ask them that. I said, where do you work? Where do you work? Because I work in educational system.
Yes, ma'am.
And I said, well, then you sure need to ask them what it is, because you can't put them in some kind of classes or training that they're not going to be able to work in. You need to ask that question straight up. What are some restrictions you have, or what is your offense, so that you can put them in the right course
Position,
of studies?
because you don't want to have somebody who like could have been incarcerated for, you know, child molestation in a daycare, working maintenance type stuff, you know, or
and then too, you know, you want to put them in a training they're going to be able to find a job in when they come out. And some of these what do you call them, the trade schools back in the day, not anymore, I hope not, they used to take people and take their money, and they trained them in a job they never were going to get. Right. They were never going to get that job. Yeah,
and it's just like a revolving door. It's like once you're in, it just keeps on. You're just back again. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Yeah. Boom. Then you come to society. You're not given a second chance. What do you turn to? You got back to it again. And it's like we have to figure out. I believe this summit is figuring out what the best way possible is, because it's like it's mass incarceration, so you don't have enough people to actually look at everybody individually. It's like back in the day. That's why psychiatrists, like, they had worked so well, is because you were able to come in for an hour, sit down and talk, tell them your problems. They were able to meet you with a cup of coffee. Now it's just like, oh, well, you just, here's a pill, go take care of yourself. You know, in 30 minutes to an hour, work on this. But I believe you could, you know, and mental health is real.
It is real.
You know?
It is real.
And the reason why it's not a care of it, though, is because it's big business. You know, these incarceration facilities, it's they're driven just for money, tax purposes. You know, it's so that the rich who invest in building these places actually get paid. It's not about let's get these buildings clear. It's how can we fill them up,
And then
because that's going to be more of a way for us to stay on top to get paid. These are things that they can pass down to their families, just to build their own families up instead of helping build the community up. And that's what I really like about your program. So it talks about your leadership and your values. So what does this program, how does this, like, it says, how does the values and commitment and integrity manifest in the operations of this summit that you're putting together?
I think I made a commitment to Greg Hamilton, my I call him my ex-sheriff, that I would do this nonprofit and I will also do this summit. And I've kept my word. And there's some people that don't believe it's going to happen, but that's okay. They're the naysayers, but I know it's going to happen because I am committed as the team that we have for On Point Reentry. The team is committed to make this happen. The board of directors that I have are wanting this to happen because we want to let people know this is not just a regular reentry nonprofit. This is a unique reentry nonprofit because all the women that are on this team have been trained at the highest level by the National Institute of Corrections and Department of Justice in coming back to your jurisdiction and creating reentry programs that are at the highest level and that are evidence-based. No other nonprofit here in Austin or in the state can say that. Wow. And that's the truth. Because we have been together over 20 years, each of us, this team has been together that long. And we're about making sure that we follow through on what we say, and that when we tell someone we're going to see them, we see them. Now, I had someone tell me the other day, of course it was a man, that he wanted to report me because I hadn't gotten back quick to him enough. Wow. And that's when I was talking to Amy about the website.
Yes, ma'am.
And I heard him call, but I was talking to her, and so I said, "We'll call you later." And not even 15 minutes later, he calls me again. I said, "We'll call you later." And then finally, when I went home. We finished about 5. I went home, made supper and all that. And he left me a real ugly text. And he said, "You're a liar. Wow. And I want to know who your supervisor is because I'm going to report you." And I said, "I am the supervisor. And I am sorry I didn't get to you fast enough, but I am only one person working with all these individuals. Yes, so you have to wait. Right. You are not on my speed dial." And I said, "And right now I'm with my family, and I'll call you in the morning." And he wrote back, "You're a liar. I am going to report you." I said, "You go and do what you want to do."
Yeah, see, he's mentally not there all the way.
And that's okay because some people do want something real quick. What is it? Instant gratification?
Yes.
I can't. I'm not into that. Right. I can't do that for you. And but I'm willing to help you, but you have to have patience. Like I have patience with you, because if you don't call me or you don't show up, then I'll call you and say, okay, I'll let you slide this time, but you got to come see me. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's good.
But it's about integrity. And I think that's really important in a reentry agency, that when you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you say you got the money to help with this, then you better have that money to help with that. And if you don't, then don't be telling other nonprofits what you got and you don't fulfill what you're doing, because that, to me, I'm giving you someone because you told me you had this benefit for them, and then when they come back and tell me they didn't help me, and I call you and you say, "Oh yeah, we ran out of money," I said, "Then what did you tell me 2 days ago?" That's frustrating for me, but my God, it's frustrating for them, because we really need a one-stop center here, y'all. We really do, where they can have mental health, legal, food, in one building. We don't have that here. If somebody says they're a one-stop, that's not true. We have yet to have a one-stop here.
They gotta go stop sign, go away across town, and get in touch with somebody.
Catch a bus and might have riders.
Sign up online. So we do need to come up with a one-stop
one-stop shop.
So if anybody's listening to this and has any ideas, come up to the summit. The summit will be when?
November the 5th through the 8th, 2024 at the Doubletree Hotel at 6505 North H 35. And I know November 5th is election day, y'all. And so you got the morning for those that are traveling to vote. And then get on that late flight because we don't have any classes on the 5th. It's on the 6th that we have the actual summit starting. But we start registration on the 5th. So don't be saying that the summit's keeping you from voting. And for those of you individuals out there that are off paper, that means you're not on parole or probation. Please go and register to vote because your voice does matter. And if you say it doesn't, then there's one less person. Just imagine 40, 50, 60 of y'all saying that, and it adds up to thousands. And we get the wrong person in office. That's because you didn't go out there and vote. And you ain't got nothing, excuse my French, to bitch about if you didn't go out there and vote for the person that you wanted to vote for. Okay?
Right. Well, I would like to say this, Miss Mary. We thank you for taking the time to sit down with the Coleman Era Bros podcast show. This is what we do. We're organized to say, hey, you know what, we could come into a community event, or we can actually go into a place of business and do what we need to do. And it's because people like you have given people like us opportunities like this. You know, this show is really powerful. Like I said, we were guided one way, but we were guided into the light, really, because we're those type of individuals. And this is what we wanted to do to help you get this voice heard out there. We want to say this is the great interview. We've been preparing for it since we started this, and we just would like to say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for giving me a voice, but also thank you for giving me the ability to see that when you spotlight these lives, they're going to be on my website, and I want people to hear their story because these are some powerful stories, and I want people to see that could be my daughter. Right. That could be my mother. Yes, and look what they've done with their lives now. And they have skills. Everybody has a gift they're given. Amen. They do. And they're ready to give it, to people. Just listen to what they have to offer. Don't judge them because, there's nobody on this earth that can judge anybody but the man upstairs. Amen. So don't be pointing fingers at anybody or talking about people. Because you ain't no saint, okay?
And that's what we're trying to say is anyone out there that's struggling also in the Austin area, come over here and speak with Miss Mary Moran. And if you can't get that help, there are places. It's just about doing the research. And we do believe in y'all out there, everyone that's tuning in. This is going to this is one of our powerful, if not the second time we've actually sat down with this much power in this room, because it's like we had King Ryan's story, which was fentanyl and stuff. I don't want to go off topic, but it's heavy on my heart because I understand. So we want to thank you.
Well, thank you, and hopefully too, y'all. I forgot to mention we need sponsors for the summit. Anybody out there that has money they want to throw our way, I would really appreciate it. We're finding sponsors for the breakfasts that we're having, for the luncheons, for the reception that evening, and also trying to see if we can give some kind of stipends to the keynote speakers. Right now we have Saul Paul coming and speaking, and he's going to be the MC for the first day. I don't know if he's able to stay there all 3 days. We have Michael Steptoe that's coming too. He is the road manager for John Legend, and he is coming to tell his story of his incarceration. And John Legend can't come, but he's doing a video for us right now to close the summit, to talk about everybody coming together and ending mass incarceration, and that we all have to work together as a group, as a world, and make this happen. And and we're still looking for more keynote speakers. And I think I'm going to have probably Judge Sawyer from Philadelphia, who's doing a sentencing foundation where she's really into pushing diversion programs instead of putting people in prison and jail. She's trying to get all these judges on board to become an association, to start pushing that in their courtrooms. so that these people don't lose everything in their lives.
Yes, ma'am.
Because sometimes you go to jail and you're there for months and months, and you lose your apartment, you lose your furniture, you lose your job, and you got to start all over again. So she's about, and I love Judge Sawyer, Stephanie Sawyer out of Philadelphia. She's connected to Judge Denise Hernandez here in Austin with her youth diversion program. And, Judge Hernandez has a wonderful program where if you go through a year-long process with her, and these are youth from 17 to 24, 22, if you go through the year-long process, it's misdemeanors. She will drop the charges on you and have your record expunged. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So that's beautiful program, and I work very closely with her.
But just letting them know, like, hey, because that's when you really bump your head out here when you're young.
Yes.
So to be able to get that off of your record, so employers won't be just looking at, okay, it's needed, because like you were saying, nobody is perfect. But you were saying the sponsors, how do they reach out if they want to?
They can go to our website and see the link there to click for sponsors, or they can give me a call.
Okay.
512-947-0598. Yes, that is my personal cell. And I'll answer you directly. Don't
be playing out there.
Yeah, and don't be calling me on the weekends or after 10. Okay? Because I'm about helping, but not that late at night and not on the weekends. I got to spend some time with my family.
There you go.
My grandson did get mad because I did take a call today at 9 o'clock in the morning from somebody, but that's okay because she needed my help, and I directed her to somebody else. Then he says, I'm not in my office till tomorrow. I said, yeah, I know. I'll tell her to call you tomorrow. But we're about finding sponsors. And you know what I really wanted? I really wanted some celebrities that had been incarcerated to give back and to say, you know what? I believe in this summit because it's addressing all over the world. I was in that system, I know what it was to be in there. Let me give some money for this nonprofit to hold this, because we wanted to be a good summit. Yeah. And I thank the DoubleTree because they're working with me. They know that this is something I have a passion for. We did it before with them.
Okay.
And so they're willing to wait till after to get paid, but they're going to get paid because my word, they're getting paid. But I need sponsors. So if y'all are out there, and you have a heart for this purpose, or I've given you the heart for this purpose, because these are wonderful, wonderful people. They're not bad people that just made a mistake. Please help us make this summit, happen, come to fruition. We're the biggest money we're asking for is $10,000, and $5,000, and $25,000, and then $500. Okay. And if you just want to give 10 or 20, it's okay. It'll add up.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. No, we would like to say thank you again.
Thank you.
This was a great interview. Thank you to the panel who's
Yes.
here. Eric, I know you couldn't be here.
Beautiful women here. Let's give them a hand, y'all.
Really. I know Eric couldn't be here. Shout out to Eric Vega. He's out there making that money, man. So you keep doing what you're doing, bro. And with that, we on the outro.
Do you want to leave us with anything else before we close out?
The only thing I can think of is that what I said before, that each and every person that's put on this earth has a purpose. Find that purpose, and when you find that purpose, your whole life will change.
That's right.
Yes, it will change. And have faith, because the man upstairs has brought me through a lot.
Amen.
Yes. Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Like that.
That's it.
That was great.
Thank you
Y'all
all.
were awesome.